Welcome back to the Microslop Chronicles. In episode 1, we followed the money and found out it's a disaster. Billions in losses, terrible adoption numbers, and job replacements that are backfiring spectacularly. Today, we're looking at why the walls are closing in on these AI companies from multiple different directions. We've got massive copyright lawsuits that could cost hundreds of billions of dollars. We've got AI making software actively worse instead of better. And we've got CEOs getting increasingly desperate and saying some really revealing things. So let's start with the legal nightmare. Here's the situation. Basically, every major AI company is getting sued for some form of copyright infringement. OpenAI, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Stability AI, Midjourney, Anthropic, Nvidia, all of them. And we're not talking about small claims here either. The New York Times lawsuit alone is seeking billions in damages. They were able to show that ChatGPT can reproduce their articles almost word for word, which is pretty damning evidence. But what makes this even worse is what's coming out in discovery. Internal emails and documents are showing that these companies knew exactly what they were doing. They had conversations about copyright, identified the risks, and decided to do it anyway. I mean, take Nvidia. They trained their models on hundreds of thousands of books from something called Anna's Archive, which is just a pirate library, over 200,000 books in what they internally called their Books 3 dataset. And we know from internal documents that they knew it was pirated content. They had discussions about whether to use it. Someone even flagged that it was illegal, and they gave it the green light anyway because actually licensing all that content would have been expensive and taken too long. Now they're in court claiming fair use, which is kind of absurd when you knowingly used pirated material at that scale to build a commercial product. Same with Stability AI and Getty Images. Getty is suing them for using 12 million watermarked images without permission. And here's the smoking gun. Sometimes Stability's AI image generator is producing pictures with mangled Getty watermarks still visible in them. And that's not just copyright infringement, it's also destroying copyright management information, which carries additional penalties. Artists are suing because these AI systems can reproduce their specific styles so accurately that it clearly is derivative work. Some systems can even recreate copyrighted characters if you prompt them right. The music industry learned their lesson from Napster, so they're moving fast. The RIAA has sent hundreds of cease and desist letters. Companies like Suno and Udio are getting sued by all three major record labels because their AI music generators can produce output that sounds suspiciously similar to copyrighted songs. Now, here is the existential problem. Researchers at MIT looked into this and concluded that the amount of high-quality data in the internet is actually finite, and we've basically already used most of it. So what are companies doing? They're resorting to synthetic data, which is AI training on AI-generated content, which degrades quality. They're scraping stuff without permission and hoping they don't get caught. And they're claiming things are public domain when they're actually not. So none of this is sustainable, guys. And the regulatory hammer is starting to drop. The EU's AI Act is going to require companies to disclose what data they've trained on and prove they have the legal right to use it. Tennessee passed the Elvis Act to protect artists' voices and likenesses. California is also even working on broader protections. So if courts rule that training on copyrighted material without permission is infringement, which seems likely, guys, it could invalidate current AI models entirely, or at least force settlements that could run into hundreds of billions of dollars across the industry. And we're talking about legal liability that could genuinely destroy these companies. So what happens when you jam AI into software that was working fine and then it breaks? Windows 11 is a perfect example. And we've already talked about it, but we'll just circle back a little bit. Microsoft forced Copilot integration into the operating system. We know it has been a disaster. Developers are reporting that Windows Terminal, a tool they rely on constantly, keeps failing with authentication errors that only started after the AI features got added. Windows search got worse, it's slower, returns less relevant results, sometimes just fails completely, and your computer is now running AI background processes that you didn't ask for and can't easily turn off. Users are actively uninstalling Copilot in massive numbers. And here's the creepy part. Much like Skype back in the old days, Microsoft keeps automatically reinstalling it. There are entire Reddit communities dedicated to helping people permanently remove Copilot using registry hacks and third-party tools. I am currently researching these to try and see if there are options that I think are safe. If I find one, I will go ahead and make a video about it for you guys. It will be over on the Lady in Dev channel. So subscribe to that one if you want to see it. If I can't find one that I think is safe, I'll let you guys know, and you can go ahead and put in the comments if you tried any of these options and found one that you liked the best. But when we're talking about like registry things, we need to be very, very careful about what we do with the registry. So I don't want to tell people to do something that might brick their computer. Anyway, about 60% of people who actually tried Copilot disabled or uninstalled it within the first month. Surprise, surprise. That's not the adoption curve Microsoft was hoping for after they invested billions of dollars. So then Google's AI overview, which has become internet famous for giving dangerously wrong information, because it told people to put glue on pizza to keep their genes from sliding off, and it said you should eat at least one small rock per day for digestive health. Wildly incorrect medical advice, told people toxic mushrooms were safe to eat. I mean, it's crazy. And these weren't even obscure edge cases. These were common searches that Google's AI gave information and could actively hurt people if they followed it. Hopefully people are smart enough to know better, but you never know. Google had to manually turn off AI overview for thousands of different search queries because it got so bad. And the problem is that Google's AI is scraping content from Reddit, Quora, other user-generated sites without any kind of verification. So when someone makes a joke on Reddit about putting glue on pizza, Google's AI treats that as legitimate advice and serves it to millions of people because it can't separate sarcasm, jokes, valid, and it can't logic, right? It's a tool. It can't logic. For developers, it's even worse. A study from Purdue University found that about 40% of codes suggested by AI assistants contain security vulnerabilities or bugs. Why? Because AI was trained on existing code, including buggy and vulnerable code. It just reproduces the same patterns without actually understanding security principles. Stack Overflow, for example, is a site where developers can go to ask coding questions. They had to ban AI-generated answers entirely because they were flooding the platform with plausible sounding but completely incorrect information. Here's the fundamental problem. AI hallucinates. It generates stuff that sounds correct and presents it with complete confidence, but it's just wrong. Microsoft's AI said the distance from Gibraltar to Africa is 320 kilometers, but it's not. Google's AI said James Madison graduated from Princeton in 1776, but he didn't. And because the AI presents wrong information with the same confidence as correct information, users have no way to tell what they can and can't trust. So that makes it actively harmful for anything where accuracy matters. There's also an accessibility problem that no one's talking about. Screen readers struggle with AI-generated content because it lacks proper semantic structure. Voice control systems get confused by unexpected AI interfaces. People with cognitive disabilities find unpredictable AI behavior incredibly frustrating, and years of work making technology more accessible is just being undone by the push for AI. All right, now let's talk about the really revealing part. What CEOs are saying as they watch their multi-billion-dollar bets fall apart. We already talked about Satya Nadella, the Microsoft CEO, who recently gave an interview where he warned that AI needs a wider adoption or it's going to fail. He called it a cognitive amplifier and essentially begged customers to give it another chance. But here's what he is not saying. Copilot has about 1% web share despite being pushed across every Microsoft product, and only 7% of enterprise customers who have access to it actually use it regularly. And the people who do use it, the average session time just keeps going down, so they try it, realize it's not helpful, and then just stop using it. Nadella is not warning about technology failing. He's warning that the business model is failing because users are rejecting the product. And Microsoft has committed to paying OpenAI billions per year, regardless of whether anyone actually uses Copilot. So the math only works if adoption dramatically increases, and it's not increasing, and it's not going to. Then you've got Jensen Huang of Nvidia, and his recent comments are really revealing. Makes me want to punch someone in the face. He's been complaining about doomer narratives hurting AI adoption, but in a podcast interview, he took it further. He specifically said he doesn't want well-respected people criticizing AI, especially in front of governments. We've I kind of talked about last week. His actual quote is, "I think we've done a lot of damage with very well-respected people who have painted a doomer narrative, end of the world narrative, science fiction narrative. I appreciate that many of us grew up and enjoyed science fiction, but it's not helpful. It's not helpful to people. It's not helpful to industry. It's not helpful to society, and it's not helpful to government." Boo-hoo. He went on to question why PhDs and CEOs warn governments about AI risks, calling it an attempt to create regulations to suffocate startups. Think about what he's actually saying here. He doesn't want experts, people with real credentials and knowledge, sharing concerns with policymakers. He's framing basic accountability as suffocating startups. And let's talk about his incentives here, because Nvidia's market cap hit $3 trillion almost entirely on AI hype. Their stock price is directly tied to AI optimism. He works closely with the military. When people get realistic about AI limitations, Nvidia's valuation suffers. This is purely self-preservation for him. So when he questions other people's motives for criticizing AI, maybe we should question his motives for trying to silence that criticism. When he's calling doomer narratives, what he's calling doomer narratives is actually experts pointing out real problems like copyright theft, environmental destruction, job displacement without adequate support, failed implementations, massive financial losses. The fact that he specifically targets well-respected people tells you everything. He's not worried about random internet comments. He's worried about credible experts with authority, because when they start warning about problems, it actually affects policymakers and investors. His framing of regulation as suffocating startups is completely disingenuous. What experts are calling for is basic accountability. Don't train on stolen content. Don't make false capability claims. Don't displace workers without support. Don't ignore environmental impacts. That's not suffocating innovation. That's requiring companies to operate legally and ethically. But here's where Huang's messaging gets even more revealing. At the same World Economic Forum event, he pivoted to praising blue-collar jobs as the future of the AI economy. Nothing against blue-collar jobs. They are essential jobs. I just don't like his attitude and the way that he is talking. Okay, just put that out there. He is saying this is the largest infrastructure build out in human history that's going to create a lot of jobs. It's wonderful that jobs are related to tradecraft, and we're going to have plumbers and electricians and construction and steel workers. He claims salaries for those jobs have nearly doubled to 6 figures for people building chip factories and AI data centers, saying everybody should be able to make a great living. Sorry for the dogs. You don't need to have a PhD in computer science to do so, which sounds great, right? Like, again, I'm not against that. It's great to be progressive. It's great to appreciate these types of jobs because all of these jobs are essential. But what he's not telling you is his own children aren't plumbers or electricians. They're Nvidia executives. His daughter Madison is a senior director at Nvidia making over $1 million a year. His son Spencer also works at Nvidia. Madison's boyfriend also works at Nvidia. When he says everybody should be able to make a great living without a PhD, what he means is other people's kids should be plumbers while my kids are executives. It's also not exactly that easy when you've been doing coding or computer science or another job that is starting to be nullified by AI. You can't just swap careers. It's not that easy. It's not that simple, and it's not that realistic. But this is the same pattern that we keep seeing, right? CEOs like to praise jobs they'd never want for their own families, while white collar workers keep getting displaced by AI. And it's like, well, let them go to trade school, as if it's that simple to just start over and the executive just stays insulated. Like, we're already seeing the impact. Nvidia stock has been a bit more volatile with significant drops whenever AI adoption numbers come in below expectations or when AI companies report problems. Sam Altman at OpenAI has also been equally as revealing. In 2023, he was saying AGI, or artificial general intelligence, was just a few years away. By late 2024, he walked that way back, saying it would take longer and require more resources, aka, it's still coming, guys, just give me more money. He's been on a fundraising tour trying to secure hundreds of billions of dollars for chip manufacturing and data centers. This is someone who knows OpenAI's current trajectory leads to bankruptcy without massive additional funding. So, is it really about AGI or like keeping your company afloat? At one conference, he even admitted that current AI might be hitting diminishing returns and that the next breakthroughs would require orders of magnitude more compute. Translation: we need exponentially more money to make meaningful progress, and we don't actually know if that progress is even possible. The VCs are getting nervous too. Mark Andreessen, who's been a huge AI booster, is now pressuring his portfolio companies to show actual revenue and user transaction, not just demos and potential. Sequoia Capital put out a blog post basically warning AI startups that the era of easy money is over and they need to prove their businesses actually work. Why the change? Well, like we said, the math just isn't mathing. They invest billions at insane valuations based on aggressive projections that aren't materializing. And now they're staring at massive write-downs. Over at Google, Sundar Pichai reportedly issued a code red about AI. The problem is Google simultaneously trying to defend their search monopoly while building AI products that cannibalize their own search business. And it's been pushing employees to ship AI features faster, even if they're not fully tested. So the result, those AI overview disasters we talked about earlier, they're so desperate to look competitive that they're sacrificing quality and reliability. Mark Zuckerberg also committed to spending $60 billion on AI in 2025. That's more than some countries' GDP, but Meta's AI products are completely underwhelming. Their AI assistant barely gets used. Honestly, up until researching this, I didn't know they had an AI assistant. The AI features in Instagram and Facebook often get mocked, and rightfully so. The AI content suggestions are frequently nonsensical, but Zuckerberg keeps personally promoting Meta AI in demos, even though adoption isn't following. He's just in it way too deep to back out because he'd have to admit AI was a waste and that would tank the stock. Even Wall Street analysts who were initially bullish are publishing skeptical reports now. Other analysts are beginning to question how companies are calculating users and the measure for productivity gains. Are those real metrics or just survey responses from employees who know their bosses want positive feedback? And behind the scenes, companies that were AI first 6 months ago are quietly pivoting to talking about human AI collaboration or AI augmented approaches. That's code for AI alone doesn't work. No duh. What's emerging is a clear pattern: blame shifting. Nvidia blames doomer narratives, OpenAI blames compute limitations, Microsoft blames user adoption, and Google blames competition. Nobody wants to admit the fundamental truth. The technology isn't delivering value proportional to its cost and hype. The economics don't work. The use cases are narrower than promised, and the problems are significantly worse than acknowledged. So we get desperation. We get CEO tears begging for adoption, for patience, for more funding, for less criticism. Guess what? I'm gonna keep criticizing you because that's not confidence. That's people watching their bets go bad in real time and trying to salvage what they can. So here's where we are. The legal walls are closing in with potentially hundreds of billions in liability. AI is actively making software worse instead of better, and CEOs are still panicking and are still crying. And yes, Microsoft is still begging that we stop saying Microslop. I am not going to. All while trying to silence credible experts who point out legitimate concerns. It's getting bad out there for them, folks. So combine that with episode 1's financial collapse and job displacement disasters, and you're watching an entire industry just die. But the good news is pushback is working. Every person who uninstalls AI features sends a signal. Every copyright lawsuit creates accountability, and every company that walks back AI-only policies proves that human expertise still matters. The Microslop Chronicles will keep tracking this as it develops, and trust me, the failures just keep coming faster and faster than I can cover them. But I do think I have caught up from what I've been seeing the last week and a half or so. So this will most likely be a weekly installment unless something just really, really big happens. But let me know in the comments below if that works for you. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and peace out. Bye.